to all our listeners. Today we are actually going to focus to the main general settings by which we are going to see what we have into settings. Uh, Remember, like we said, into settings we have, unfortunately, settings. We will go to settings. Under settings here, actually, we are going to today to learn how to what's the difference between course and batch as well as subject. How do we assign each to different semester or different course? So today, as you can see, we will begin by manage course. So before we go far with this, I want actually to have a brief overview of what we call a course and what we call a batch. Um, in an institution, actually, let me have it this way, described this way. In a school, let's say a school, a kindergarten school to primary school, they usually have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, maybe to grade 6. Or else we could call it to primary. We call it primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, primary 4 to primary 6. Or else in a school, in secondary schools, they have senior 1 to senior 6. So that's what we call a course. A course, it's what we could actually regard as a school, a class, a specific class. So instead of calling it a class, we call it as a course. So then within a course, we have different batches. That means, let's say in senior one, in senior one, we may have term 1, 2006, term 2, 2016, sorry, term 3, 2016. So that's to say, in a specific Rwandan education standard, by which is which we follow into Minedik, we have 3 terms in a secondary school or in a primary schools. Termly, there are 3 terms in a secondary school. So this is what we have as a presentation. And for a university, most universities have 2 semesters in one course. So the course may be MBA HR or MBA Finance. It could be something like ICT or something like that. So that would be regarded as a course. So when we come to the batches, that means we are going to break down these courses into different semesters. Some schools may also have semester 3, maybe 2016. So this is all different to different institutions. So that's why actually we may say we have semester 1 to semester 2 only for that to be considered as batches. So let's come back to our application here. So we see how to manage and to create batches and courses. So we go for manage courses. So we go for new. You can see on this side under the berg we have new. So we go for new. So you can see we have course name. So for course name, this is where we say we could call it senior 1, we could call it senior 2, we could call it grade 1, we could call it a primary 1, we could call it anything as long as actually it's referring to that specific class. So here we can call it to senior 1. We can use figures. Section name, actually here it may not be that way needed. It's not that way recommended because in S1 they don't have sections. But if we come to S4 or to university levels, we will look into section page. So for the code, usually we use S.1. Mostly that's the shortcut for senior 1. So the grading system will be set to normal. So only for standard schools, maybe we're using GPA, Cambridge schools or something like that, they may select a different option to this. So here, for as far as run is concerned, we will go for normal. So initial batch, we are going to select which type of batch do we have this senior one. That means we have senior one as term one or first term. We can make it the way we want, or we can call it A, B, and C, or we can call it first term 2016. So we have the starting date. When is it starting? So I think this year they're starting February, let's say 2nd, and maybe they're ending. I'm not sure of the calendar, but I think it will be before the genocide memorial period. So that means it's going to be like let's say March. Let's check on the date and say maybe it will be 31st, and then we do save. So what have we done today? Actually, now, sorry, as you can see, we already have something that has the same code. So that means we could change this to, let's remove a dot and see if it works. Here it shouldn't be this way. We actually have to reset it again. We can to February 2nd, and the end date is going to be March. It's going to be March 31st, not 2017. We make it 2016, and we go for save. If there's nothing like S1, good. So now we have successfully created the batch. So what we can do now, we can actually revise what we have done. We go to senior one, we already have it here, we click on it. Let me hope that's what we created, which we have the details as term one because we have senior one and we have batch term 1 2016. We can add a new batch. We go for new, you can see. So we do term, sorry, non-capital, term 2 2016. So we select the date. So we think it's going to be open after the commemoration, the memorial, sorry, seasons. So that means after 14th, this holidays, let's say it's on 18th. That's when they're opening. The end date, we're not quite sure, but of course this is a demo, so we can do whatever we want. Let's say they'll be closing in June. Let's say June 14th. But of course not 2017, 2016. We can for 2016. And here we can import previous batches and subjects, but so far we have not created any. Let's assume we have not created anything. So what we do, we come here and do save. So there we go. We have that we have successfully created the batch. So what we can do here, we go back to the dashboard normally, or else we can use the setting, but let's use the dashboard and you get familiar to the dashboard. So we come back to what we call, it's called settings. So we go for the manage course and batch, and we come here manage courses. So you remember it was senior one. We came for new. That means we have in senior one, we have term 1 2016, we have term 2 in 2016. Let's do term 3 2016. So that means in batch, in course senior 1, we have batch. You can select that and edit this to 3, which is starting, let's say in July. in July 2016, let's say well, 11th, and it's ending in October, let's say 20th. So we don't do any importing because we have not created any subject when we don't want to interfere with something that else that has been set here. So we go for save. So as we can see now, we can even have a shortcut here to settings and manage courses, and we can have an overview of what we have created. Um, Actually, to let not confuse everything here, we can have a delete. We are unable to delete. Please remove existing batches and students. I wanted to show you this to show you that you cannot delete any batch here as long as any course here, as long as there are students inside. It's as if you cannot shut down a class as long as students are still in the class. What you have to do, you have to first remove the students. After removing the students, and you remove the class. That's actually one of the security systems. So we come to the senior one, we see what we have created, if that's the way it should be. So we have senior one, term 1, 2016, and we have senior 1, term 2, 2016. We have senior 1, term 3, 2016. So through which here we can see how we can create subjects within these terms. So we can come here and see edit. You can see there's edit. So if we have to make any changes, that's where we go. If we don't need to do any changes, it's okay. We are good to go. So we can go for back. So here, if there are any subjects to assign, we can actually directly assign one. But so far, we don't have anything to assign. Alright, see, if we had students logging into this batch term 1 2016, we will be seeing them. This will be the number, and this will be their names, and this will be the admission number, by which is created automatically. And from here, you can manage, you can assign, you can delete, you can edit, you can check on their exams, so you can see whatever you want to see. So for today, thank you for coming.